What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be my complete Blu-ray collection for 2018. Now, for everyone who's been following my channel knows that I haven't been posting videos for a while. I think it's been a few months now. You know, just things happen. You know, you get busy in life and, you know, it takes you away from YouTube. You know, at first it was like I just wanted to take a break, and then after, you know, during the break and afterwards, I got caught up with other things. So unfortunately, I'm not on YouTube as much as I once was. But I have been getting a few requests to do a updated Blu-ray collection video from a few viewers and subscribers. So thank you so much for requesting that. I really appreciate it. I figured I would do this video because these videos are always really fun to do. And I've been doing one every year since 2015. So I usually do an updated one for the year every January. So since it's February, it's still fairly early in the year, I figured I'd just do it right now while I have the time. It is going to take a while. I apologize. It's going to be a long video, but I'm just going to run through them as quickly as I can. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy. And like always, all the slipcovers, I always get comments about slipcovers and things like that. I have a shelf right in here, or a drawer, excuse me, of all my slipcovers. So that's why they're not on the actual Blu-rays. Only a few do, like some of the steelbooks, which you'll see when we get to them. I do have all the slipcovers. They're just in here. I just take them off the Blu-rays so I can save some space and fit a little bit more on the shelves. So that's why they're not on there. But anyway, I really hope you enjoy, and let's get to it. Alright guys, so let's get started with the first shelf here. These are all in alphabetical order. After I do this top shelf, I'm going to show you two box sets that I have that aren't in alphabetical order. They're on actually a separate shelf, which I'll show later on. So if you're wondering why they're out of order, that's why. But anyway, let's get started here. Okay, we have 3:10 to Yuma, 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was my favorite movie of 2016, I believe. Really great movie. 10 Things I Hate About You. 12 Angry Men. This is the Criterion Collection version of it. The 40-Year-Old Virgin, one of my favorite comedies. Hilarious. 50 First Dates. 500 Days of Summer. 1408, another one of my favorites. I actually hated this movie when I first saw it, but upon rewatching it a few more times, I really love it. And John Cusack is really, really great in this movie. He's one of my favorite actors. The Adjustment Bureau. Adventureland. Air Force One, another really great movie, great action movie. Airplane, hilarious. Aliens, I still don't have Alien. I still haven't picked that up yet, but I actually do like this one a little bit more than Alien. Almost Famous. This is the director's cut, the bootleg cut, extended edition. American Beauty. American Gangster. Kind of a overlooked Ridley Scott movie. American History X, great movie. Edward Norton's amazing in that. American Hustle. This is the American Pie 4 movie collection. It comes with the first 4. American Pie 2, American Wedding, and American Reunion. American Psycho, another movie that I hated the first time I watched it, but it's since become one of my favorite movies. I didn't get it, I think, when I was younger, and you know, that it was a dark comedy kind of and anything like that, but it's so great. Christian Bale's amazing in that. Anaconda. Apollo 13. Atomic Blonde, which I liked. It did have flaws. It's not like, you know, an extremely, like, you know, one of the most memorable movies of 2017, but for the action and everything, I really loved it. And Charlize Theron's my favorite actress, and you know, she kicks ass in this. So I really like her in this. I really like Sofia Boutella, too. She's only in it for a short while, but I like her a lot. Avengers Age of Ultron. I don't have the first Avengers movie. This is the only one of the Avengers I have, and I've said this before. I like this a little bit more than Avengers, but that's just me. But I really like it. Good movie. The Aviator. A really great Martin Scorsese movie. Leonardo DiCaprio is phenomenal in that. So is Cate Blanchett. Really, really great. Awakenings, another underrated movie that not a lot of people have seen or know of. Robert De Niro and Robin Williams together. Fantastic. One of my favorite movies of last year. I didn't do a top 10 favorites, or top 5, top 10. I didn't see a lot of movies last year, but this is my favorite, tied with another movie coming up, and that's Baby Driver. I absolutely loved it. Great movie. Backdraft. Bad Teacher. Bad Words with Jason Bateman. Really great, underrated comedy. I love Jason Bateman. I really want to see that movie Game Night with him and Rachel McAdams coming up. I think it comes out in a few weeks. Basic Instinct. Batman. Batman Returns. Batman Begins. The Dark Knight. That movie's so great. The Dark Knight Rises. It's still not one of my favorites, but it has grown on me a little bit more as I've watched it. The fight scene between Batman and Bane in that underground facility where, like, Bane's hideout is, I love that fight scene. Sometimes I'll just watch it on YouTube just because it's, I don't know, I love it. Beetlejuice, which I think they're remaking or doing a sequel to. I think Michael Keaton's coming back, and Winona Ryder is, I don't know about Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. I don't know if they're coming back, but I think there's a rumor. I don't know if it's 100% about that. Another underrated movie, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Great performance in this movie. Ethan Hawke's also really good, and Marissa Tomei in this movie. Excellent. Another Criterion. This is the Richard Linklater's The Before trilogy. I love this trilogy. All three are great. I think my favorite is the second one, Before Sunset. Just, I don't know. It's just perfect directing and perfect acting. It's completely natural and real. All three of them. It's great trilogy. The Belko Experiment. This is one of the movies I was saying that's tied with the Baby Driver is my favorite movie of last year. I know a lot of people probably forgot about this, but I think it's so entertaining. It's really fun, and I'm glad there's a sequel coming to this. I really liked, what's his name? John Gallagher Jr., who was in, 10 Cloverfield Lane and Short Term 12 and all that. He's great in this movie as the lead character, but I just love the gore. I just love the concept. It's over the top. It's funny. It's short and sweet to the point. I love it. Big. The Big Sick. Actually, this might be my favorite movie of last year. I forgot about this. This, Baby Driver, and The Belko Experiment are probably my favorite. I love The Big Sick. I'm so glad it got an Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay. I hope it wins. I actually haven't seen everything else that was, nominated in that category. I don't know if this got any other Oscar nominations, but Kumail Nanjiani, he's really funny. Really cool, really relatable in this movie, kind of like that everyday type guy. And Ray Romano and Holly Hunter are really, really great playing his girlfriend's parents. Yeah, definitely check this out. It's a romantic comedy, drama, I guess, but it does it differently where, it's not the same old, and it's definitely a movie that guys and women can watch. So, really great movie. Big Trouble in Little China, love Kurt Russell. The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock, one of my favorite directors. Black Swan, a really interesting movie. I'm glad my friend told me to check this out because I really had no interest. I thought it was about ballerinas and stuff, which, I just didn't understand it at the time. But he said, there's more to it. It's not about, ballet dancing. But I think it's my favorite Darren Aronofsky movie. That's really great. Natalie Portman, of course, is amazing in it. The Blade trilogy comes with Blade, Blade 2, and Blade Trinity. The Blind Side, another one of my favorites when I was growing up as a kid. I love Sandra Bullock. She's really, really great in this movie. She won an Oscar, or her Oscar for that in that movie. Blood Diamond, another underrated movie. Leonardo DiCaprio kicks ass in this movie. Bone Tomahawk, going back to Kurt Russell. Really great Western horror movie. There's not a lot of these type of movies out there like this, but it is kind of a slow burn movie, but it's very graphic. A lot of, cannibalism, and they do show a lot of the, violent parts, people being ripped apart and limbs flying off. It's pretty graphic, but it's a really good movie, and Kurt Russell's excellent in it. Okay, so that's the first shelf done, and here's the box sets. I'm going to show you because I don't have them in like with my collection. I have them on that separate shelf, like I was saying. This is The Sopranos, the complete collection. One of my favorite TV shows. I didn't get to watch it when I was on, when it was on TV because I was really young at the time it aired, and I didn't have HBO, so I'm catching up to it now. I'm on the last season, season 6. It's a really great show. There's a reason why it's a classic. If you love mafia, gangster type, movies or TV shows, this is like kind of the top-notch one to watch, or at least one of them. And sticking with that theme is Boardwalk Empire. I'm on season 4 of this right now. These are the UK box sets. I think I showed these in a previous update. They were cheaper, that's why I bought them. They were actually a lot cheaper. That's why I bought the UK ones, and they're region-free. Steve Buscemi's incredible in this series, and Michael Shannon, also really great. He's one of my favorite kind of current actors. But yeah, all the actors and actresses they got for this are incredible, and the attention to detail, like what they wear and the setting and everything, and the cars and everything, I love it. It's a really great TV show, so definitely check that one out. Okay, moving right along here, we have Boogie Nights, another really great movie, one of like Mark Wahlberg's early performances. I don't know if it was like his big breakthrough movie, but great movie with great performances. The Bourne Identity, The Bourne Supremacy, and The Bourne Ultimatum. I like all 3 of these movies. I haven't seen the fourth one with Jeremy Renner, and I saw the new one, Jason Bourne. That one was just okay, but I really like the first 3, the trilogy. Braveheart, the Brave one with Jodie Foster. I got to rewatch this one. I haven't seen it in a long time. Breakdown, one of my all-time favorite movies, one of my favorite thrillers. I love Kurt Russell again. He's great in that movie. The Breakfast Club, excuse me. Another classic movie. Really great. Bridesmaids, which I really like. I think it's really funny. A Bug's Life. Kind of an underrated Pixar movie. I know like a lot of people a lot of mention gets Toy Story and all that, and which is my favorite. But Bug's Life just kind of gets rarely mentioned, but I love it. I think it's one of my favorites. Bullet, great kind of crime thriller detective movie with an amazing car chase at the end. Probably the most iconic car chase filmed. Buried, a whole movie takes place in a coffin with Ryan Reynolds buried alive. Really great performance by Ryan Reynolds. Just him buried alive. This is a movie that you wonder, like, how can it hold your attention for an hour and a half when it's just a guy buried alive in a box? But it does the job, and a really great ending. I love the ending to that. I'm glad they had the balls to go in that direction. Cape Fear, Martin Scorsese's remake. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, one of my favorite MCU movies. Captain America: Civil War. Carlito's Way, an underrated movie that no one even talks about. It was directed by Brian De Palma, and Al Pacino is really great in this movie, and Sean Penn is also really good playing like this crazy drug-addicted lawyer. Yeah, it's a really great crime thriller. I don't know why a lot of people like never mention that. Casablanca, classic movie. Casino, kind of another Martin Scorsese movie that a lot of people don't seem to mention, but I like it. It's really great. It's kind of like Goodfellas, similar, only in a casino. Casper was one from my childhood. I love that movie. Castaway, Catch Me If You Can, one of Steven Spielberg's greatest movies, and that's saying a lot because he has amazing movies, but my 2 favorite actors, Leo and Tom Hanks, in the same movie, excellent. And there's a lot of people in here that, like, before they got big, like Amy Adams is in here, and what the hell's her name? The woman from Grey's Anatomy. I can't remember her name, but she's in there, like, years before she was on there. Cellular, another great thriller. Centurion, another underrated movie. There's a lot of movies that I think are underrated. I don't think this was in theaters, but it stars Michael Fassbender, who's one of my favorites, and Olga Kurylenko. It's kind of like Gladiator, only a little bit more brutal and, in your face. And it was directed by Neil Marshall, who directed The Descent, which is one of my favorite movies, and Dog Soldiers. I think it's on Netflix. Check that one out. The Change Up, which I like. I think it's really funny. Child's Play. Chinatown. Great classic movie. Christine. Chronicle. Cinderella. This is the live-action remake with Lily James, who was great as Cinderella. She was great in Baby Driver, too. And, what's her name? Helena Bonham Carter and Cate Blanchett. Great. Cloverfield. I haven't watched the Cloverfield Paradox. It just doesn't really interest me. I might watch it one of these days. Clue the movie. One of my favorites. Love it. I think it's perfect. Collateral. Con Air. Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson. That's a great thriller. Copland. Couples Retreat. Cowboys and Aliens. Crash, which a lot of people hate. I don't think it's the worst movie ever made. You know, it's not phenomenal, but it's a good watch, and it has some of my some actors in it I really like, and I think it's a good movie overall. Crazy Heart. Crazy Stupid Love. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Dallas Buyers Club, amazing movie with amazing performances. Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto, they both won Oscars for this movie. I think Jared Leto is one of my favorite characters ever in a movie. He's great in that movie. Dan in Real Life. Steve Carell is one of my favorites, and Dan Cook is in here. I don't know what happened to him. He kind of fell off the face of the earth. And Emily Blunt's in it for a short while. She's pretty interesting in it too. Dark Blue, going back to Kurt Russell. The remake, Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's remake. It's one of the best horror movie remakes. Just one of the best remakes in general. I love it. Deadpool. Death Proof, Quentin Tarantino, my favorite director. Deep Blue Sea. The Departed, amazing movie. It's definitely my top 10 favorite movies. Everything about that movie is perfect. And The Descent, one of my favorite horror movies. This would also be my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's perfect for what it is. It also has an excellent cast of all-female characters, which is kind of unusual for a horror movie. Okay, moving on right along here, we have The Devil's Advocate. Really great movie. It's kind of like a supernatural thriller. Keanu Reeves' acting in this movie is kind of, in its early stages. He's not the best acting. His acting's pretty bland in this movie, but Al Pacino is really great in this movie. Kind of an overlooked performance. And Charlize Theron in it, again, love her in that. The Devil Wears Prada. Dial M for Murder, really great Alfred Hitchcock directed movie. The whole movie takes place in one location, just in an apartment. Die Hard, absolute classic. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman. Live Free or Die Hard, which I think is kind of, underappreciated, I guess, one of the sequels. I don't have Die Hard with a Vengeance. I have to rewatch that one, but I really like this one. Even though it is over the top considering the first movie. I mean, in this movie with the helicopters and all that, it's a little over the top, but I really like Timothy Olyphant, or however you say his name. I think it's Olyphant, as the villain. He's one of my favorite underrated actors. Dirty Dancing. This is the 30th anniversary edition. Classic movie. Disturbia. I remember watching this as a kid a lot. I really liked this movie, and I still like it today. I think it's one of Shia LaBeouf's better performances, and this was kind of before he went crazy. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but this is one of the movies where I really like him. And I think it's because he's really relatable in it. Django Unchained. This is the Target exclusive steelbook. I actually bought this used. I didn't buy it new at Target when it came out, but this, along with probably Reservoir Dogs, is my favorite Tarantino movie. This is another movie that's just so perfect, and Leonardo DiCaprio as Calvin Candy, the villain, is amazing. Dodgeball, really hilarious. Donnie Brasco, another mafia movie with Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. Don't Breathe. Doubt, really great movie, very powerful movie with amazing acting from everyone. Really great movie. Dracula, the original with Bela Lugosi. Dread, really great movie. Everyone wants a sequel to it. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's going to happen. I haven't heard anything, but I really wish they would make a sequel to that. Drive. I don't like it as much as some people do. I don't think it's like a masterpiece by any means, but as the more I watched it, it's grown on me a little bit. It's not amazing. You know, you have to be like in a mood to watch it, but it, you know, for what it is, it does it. Dr. No. We're in my James Bond section here. Even though these are in alphabetical order, I keep all my all the movies that are in a series together. And I don't have all the James Bond movies. I only have the ones that you'll see here because I don't like some of them. I only bought the ones that I like. So that's Dr. No. We have the Steelbook From Russia with Love, which is the first James Bond movie I ever saw. Goldfinger. Thunderball, which gets a lot of hate from people. Some people say this is the worst movie. I don't think it's the worst one by any means. I think it's great, especially you know, from the 1960s. I think it fits right in there, and it's one of my favorite Bond girls, Domino. I love her. Live Free or Die Hard. Live and Let Die. I'm on the wrong series. The Spy Who Loved Me. License to Kill, which is, I think, an underrated James Bond movie. Then we have the Pierce Brosnan collection, which contains all of his movies. GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. I like all of them except Die Another Day. There's a few parts in Die Another Day that are okay, but it's near the bottom for sure. I do like Tomorrow Never Dies. I think a lot of people like overlook that one. A lot of people really hate The World Is Not Enough. I love it. I think it's great. It has an amazing opening scene, and there's a lot of great scenes throughout it. I think just, you know, people can't get past Denise Richards, but I have no problem with it. And GoldenEye is one of my favorites. It's my favorite with the next one here. Casino Royale. This one's my favorite James Bond movies, hands down. Everything about it's perfect. I have no complaints about it. This movie and GoldenEye are the best, for me, James Bond movies. Quantum of Solace, which it does have a lot of problems, but I don't think it's near the worst James Bond movie ever made. I think it's a lot better than Moonraker and Octopussy. That's for sure. Skyfall, it's in my top 3. Amazing James Bond movie with Javier Bardem, amazing as Silva. Spectre, not one of the best, but certainly not one of the worst. For what it is, I think it did the job. There's some storylines in it that are kind of weak and kind of weird, but it does have great action and all that, and great Bond girl too. Duel, this is Steven Spielberg's first directed movie. Dumb and Dumber and The Mask, both are really funny, really great movies for, you know, that time period, the 90s. Eastern Promises, great crime thriller. David Cronenberg directed it. Naomi Watts is great in it, and Viggo Mortensen is amazing in it. I think he was nominated for that movie. The Edge, great survival action thriller set out in the Alaskan wilderness. Election, everyone knows I love Reese Witherspoon. Elvis, John Carpenter directed it. Enemy, really weird mindfuck of a movie, but Jake Gyllenhaal's amazing in it. Enemy at the Gates, a good World War II movie. I like how it's set about, you know, it's mostly about snipers, a Russian sniper and a German Nazi sniper. Yeah, I've said it before and I said it again. This has one of the most awkward sex scenes I've ever seen in a movie. It makes you feel awkward and uncomfortable. I mean, there's nothing gross about it, really, or anything like that. It's cringy because it's just like, I don't know, every time it just like kind of freaks me out. I mean, Rachel Weisz is beautiful, you know, and she's really great in the scene, but it's so awkward. It's just, I don't know. Has anyone else seen that? If anyone else has seen it and seen that, does anyone agree with me? It's just makes you feel cringy and awkward. I don't know. It's weird. But the movie is good. Enemy of the State, another great thriller. I think it's one of my favorite Will Smith movies. He's really good in that. Entrapment with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Oh yeah. Escape from New York. European Vacation. I don't have the first Vacation movie. I need to get that one in Christmas Vacation, but this one's pretty funny. Evil Dead remake. I really like it. I haven't seen the original though, so I have nothing to go off of really, but just this as a movie is really great. Ex Machina, another, the more you watch it, the more I like it. It's like a long Twilight Zone episode. Alicia Vikander, or Vikander. Really great in this movie. She's, you know, she's like perfection playing a robot in this movie. Yeah, she's absolutely stunning all around. But I really want to see, this is directed by Alex Garland. I want to see that sci-fi movie that's coming out with Natalie Portman. It looks really weird, but I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. But Ex Machina was really great. Executive Decision. Eyes Wide Shut, really weird, another crazy mindfuck movie. Face Off, which I think they're remaking. I think my friend told me. So that'll be interesting. But this one is really entertaining, really over the top. And then we have the Fast and Furious movies. We have The Fast and the Furious, excuse me. Too Fast, Too Furious. Fast and Furious. Fast 5, which is my favorite. Fast and Furious 6. And Furious 7, rest in peace, Paul Walker. Okay, next shelf here, we have The Fate of the Furious, which I really enjoyed. Jason Statham, you know, coming back was really great. Yes, it's over the top as shit. It's probably the most over the top one out of all of them, but still very entertaining. And I love Charlize Theron as the villain. I thought she was a great choice. I just wish she was, I wish she was in the movie more. I wish she had more screen time. And I wish she was more of, in this movie, she's kind of like a behind-the-scenes villain. Like, she's really not, like, out in the field getting her hands dirty. She's kind of like, because she's like a computer or a cyber terrorist, so she's like behind a computer most of the time. But still, she's a very cold, deadly bitch in this movie. Really like her. Hopefully we see her in the future movies, because, you know, the ending of the movie. But I liked it. I thought it was really fun. A Few Good Men, one of Rob Reiner's best. Great performances. Particularly, well, I do like Tom Cruise in it. Jack Nicholson's great, and Demi Moore. Really great. Kevin Bacon's in it as well. Firewall. The Firm. Another Tom Cruise movie. First Blood. The 5-Year Engagement. This is a really funny movie. It's got Chris Pratt in it, and you know, Emily Blunt, Jason Segel, Alison Brie. Yeah, a lot of great cast, really funny. I like it a lot. Flight. That's a really great movie. Flight Plan with Jodie Foster. Focus. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, really great movie. I think my friend said the same thing on his channel. Like, the more we watch this movie, the more we like it. It's just, there's something about it. I mean, I liked it when I first saw it, but I've seen it at least 4 times. And we like it every time, or at least I do. Fracture. Frailty with Matthew McConaughey. That's a great, like, horror thriller. And it was directed by Bill Paxton, who stars in it too. Rest in peace, Bill. The French Connection. Friends with Benefits. Fright Night, the remake. I really like this one. Haven't seen the original since I was a kid. But Colin Farrell is the villain. It was really great in that movie. From Dusk Till Dawn. This is the Canadian Steelbook. It has Selma Hayek there on the back, and yeah, George Clooney there. And then if you open it up on the inside, it has a great picture of that famous scene with Selma Hayek, the snake dance. Yeah, really great movie. It's the first half is like a crime thriller, and then the second half is just like a all-out crazy. I don't know what the hell you call it, but it's, you know. But yeah, Tarantino wrote it, and he stars in it, and it was directed by Robert Rodriguez. It's like a cult classic. The Frozen Ground, another really good movie. John Cusack I really like, and Nicolas Cage, it's one of his like subdued performances. He's actually, you know, normal in this movie. Vanessa Hudgens isn't actually that bad in this movie either. It's just her character is so freaking dumb in that movie. The Fugitive. Fury, one of the best, you know, modern war movies, along with Hacksaw Ridge, I think. The Game, David Fincher directed. Gangs of New York, Leonardo DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis is amazing in that. Cameron Diaz isn't that bad in it, too. A lot of people give her shit for this movie. I think it's one of her better performances. I don't think she's shit in it at all. I think she's pretty good. Gangster Squad. Get Smart. That's a funny movie. I like it. Ghost, really great movie. Classic. Rest in peace, Patrick Swayze. He's really good in it, and Demi Moore is really great too. The Ghost Rider, The Gift, love Jason Bateman, one of his best performances, one of his serious roles, and what's his name? Joel Edgerton's really creepy in that movie. I hope he directs and writes more movies like that, because I think that's where his strong suit lies. The Girl Next Door, really good movie. It's like a coming of age kind of romantic comedy, but it's not like a, you know, it's something a guy can watch. Well, I mean, obviously, but you know, a lot of people will see that and be like, oh, that's a girl movie. It's not. It's great. David Fincher's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, amazing movie. It's very brutal. Daniel Craig's really good in it, and Rooney Mara is phenomenal. I mean, this is like complete acting dedication, like all her piercings and her tattoos that she got, and I think some of them were fake. I don't think she has all of them, but I mean, the piercings I think were all her. She's phenomenal in this movie. There's really graphic scenes. The rape scene goes on for too long. It's kind of, well, it is really hard to watch, but the torture scenes are very nasty and everything, but it's a really good detective-like crime thriller trying to solve a mystery in the wilderness. It takes place like in Sweden, I think. Really, David Fincher's great. G.I. Jane, which I haven't watched in a long time, is directed by Ridley Scott. And I remember Demi Moore was good in it. So, I don't know, I gotta watch it again. The Godfather trilogy, one of the best trilogies of all time. The first one's one of my favorite movies. Second one is probably as great a sequel as you can ever get to a movie. And the third one, it is underwhelming, but I don't think it's complete shit. I think it's watchable if you really like the first two. That's just my opinion. You know, it's not bad. It has some low points, but it's watchable for sure. Godzilla, the 1998 one with Matthew Broderick. I watched the shit out of this when I was a kid. I love this movie. I still watch it today. It's still entertaining. Yes, it's not an amazing movie, but for entertainment value, it's right on for me. Gone Baby Gone. Great. Gone Girl, one of my favorite movies of 2014. David Fincher directed again. Ben Affleck's really good, and Rosamund Pike is amazing in this movie. I think she should have won the Oscar. She was nominated. I can't remember who won. Probably Meryl Streep. But Rosamund Pike is phenomenal. Gone in 60 Seconds. Really fun movie. Another one from my childhood. Goodfellas. Great. Good Luck, Chuck. Some funny moments. There's one really gross moment with that really overweight woman. I mean, she's supposed to be like nasty. That's the point of the story. I'm not saying her, but ugh, that was fucking gross. But other than that, there's some really funny moments to it. Good Will Hunting, classic. Amazing acting, great story. Goosebumps, the remake, really fun, enjoyable. Gran Torino. Grand Piano. Gravity, which I really like. Yeah, the story could have been a little bit, you know, involved, but I mean, it's how much can you do? I mean, it's people stranded in space and they have to get back to Earth, so I mean, that's how it would be in space. I mean, there's not much you can add without it being Star Wars and adding like spaceships and lasers shooting all over the place. But anyway, George Clooney's pretty good in it. I like Sandra Bullock a lot. Some people really hate her for some reason. I thought she was good in it. The Great Gatsby, another movie that's like growing on me. The more times I watch it, I like Leonardo DiCaprio. Again, he's my favorite actor, so he's really enjoyable. Carey Mulligan is really good as Daisy in this movie, too. And I really like this cover. This is the Target exclusive cover there with Leo and Carey Mulligan. But yeah, I like it. It could have been a lot better, though. They could have made like a lot of changes to it to make it even better. The Green Mile and Forrest Gump, two great movies with, of course, great performances by Tom Hanks. The Gray, really good movie. I'm glad. This is another one my friend told me to watch, and I'm glad I did. Grosse Point Blank, another, love it. John Cusack's really great in it. Many Drivers, too. Groundhog Day, classic. Guardians of the Galaxy, really like it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I like it just as much as the first one. It might be a step down just because it's a sequel, but there's still some really great points to it. And Hacksaw Ridge, another one of my favorite movies from 2016. Andrew Garfield's great in it. I really loved Vince Vaughn in this movie. I think he's one of my favorite characters in this movie. What's his name? Hugo Weaving, really good in it too. Yeah, just Mel Gibson directed the shit out of this movie. It's amazing. Phenomenal acting, really powerful story. Okay, moving on to shelf number 5. We have Halloween. Halloween 2, which is a really great sequel, I think. Halloween H2O. Those are the only ones I have in the series. Hancock, which I'd actually like to see a sequel to this. Again, Charlize Theron's in it. Really great. Hang 'em High, one of my favorite westerns. The Harry Potter collection, all 8 films, one of my favorite series. I love all 8 of them. I'm in the process of rewatching them. I'm up to, I just finished the Half-Blood Prince, so I got to watch the last 2. It's one of my favorite series. I love them. I grew up with them. I saw all of them in theaters as they came out. Can't get enough of Harry Potter. The Hateful Eight. This is the Best Buy exclusive steelbook. This was a bitch to get, for me at least. I did a Blu-ray hunting trip to get this, but really great movie. This was one of my favorite theater experiences. I saw this on Christmas Eve when it came out. When was that? 2 years ago? Yeah, really great. I have the movie poster up there. Just hugely entertaining movie. I really like it. I love this steelbook. Quentin Tarantino, what can you say? Heat. Excellent. The Heat. A History of Violence. Really great movie. Underrated. Again, David Cronenberg directed it, just like Eastern Promises. It also stars Viggo Mortensen, excuse me. And Ed Harris is really good in it. He's kind of like the villain. Maria Bello's great in it too. Another one that has kind of an awkward sex scene, but not as awkward as Enemy at the Gates, but a really great crime thriller movie. Hitch, which I really like. That's one I remember watching a lot when I was younger. Hitman. Not the best movie ever, but still really entertaining. And like I said, I like Timothy Olyphant a lot. I think he's underrated. I thought he was a good fit for Hitman. And Olga Kurylenko. This was actually the first movie I ever saw her in, but it was awkward seeing this in the theater with my dad when this came out, 2006 or 7. Yeah, 2007. So I was like 13, 14 years old. You know, the scenes with her, but still really great. Horrible Bosses and Horrible Bosses 2. I love both of these a lot. The second one I had to watch a few times to get into, but I like both of them a lot. If you really like the first one, I think you can appreciate the second one. And I want a third one so damn bad. I wish they would make a third Horrible Bosses movie. But the 3 of them together, especially Jason Bateman, he's my favorite. It's just really entertaining movies. There's some great funny shit in that movie. Hostel and Hostel Part 2. Hot Tub Time Machine. House of Wax, the original one with Vincent Price. Definitely check that one out. How Do You Know with Reese Witherspoon. God, I love her to death. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is the 2-movie collection. I haven't seen the second one, but the first one's one of my all-time favorites. I watched it so much as a kid on VHS, and it's actually a lot darker watching it now as an adult. Like, how many dark moments, especially the Hellfire scene with Frodo. That's pretty crazy. The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games Catching Fire, which is my favorite of the series. I don't have Mockingjay Part 1 or 2. They're okay, but I just don't own them. Identity. Going back to John Cusack again. The Ides of March. This has an amazing cast. Ryan Gosling, George Clooney, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Paul Giamatti, Marissa Tomei. Great. It's a political movie, but it's not really like heavy on the politics. It's more of like a dramatic thriller. And it was directed by George Clooney. The Illusionist. Love Edward Norton. The Imitation Game. Great World War II. It's kind of like a thriller, like them trying to crack the Nazi code during World War II. I Love You, Beth Cooper. I Love You, Man. I have to rewatch this. I haven't watched this in years. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. The first one's okay. I have it on DVD, but I actually like this one a little bit more. Inception. The Incredibles, which I love. Another one of my childhood favorites. I'm so glad there's a sequel coming out to it. The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton and Liv Tyler. I really love Tim Roth, and he's great as the villain in that movie. Abomination. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which is my favorite. I got to rewatch this one. And Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yes, it has problems, but I still find it enjoyable as hell. Shia LaBeouf's actually bearable in this movie, and I really love Cate Blanchett as the villain. She kind of reminds me of like a Bond villain. She's a little bit over the top and all that, but I think she fits for that movie. Inglourious Bastards, the Canadian Steelbook. Absolutely love this Steelbook. Really fantastic and great movie. Love it. Ingrid Goes West, excuse me. Another pretty good movie. I love Aubrey Plaza ever since watching Parks and Recreation recently. She's actually a really good actress if you give her the, really good material. And her scene in this movie with the Catwoman routine, that was very enjoyable. Insomnia, love it. Some people say it's Christopher Nolan's worst. I wholeheartedly disagree, but that's just me. And The Intern, I just rewatched this a few weeks ago. It's still really, really enjoyable movie. Okay, next shelf here, we got Interview with a Vampire with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. This is Tom Cruise playing one of the only villainous kind of type roles, if you count, along with Tropic Thunder and Collateral. But I think it's one of the best vampire movies. Iron Man 2, I forgot. I sold my copy of Iron Man, the first Iron Man, to get the updated version of it. So I got to rebuy that. But that's one of my favorite. That might be my favorite MCU movie. That's the movie that got me into Iron Man, and I think he's my favorite MCU hero, probably along with Spider-Man. This is Iron Man 2. Obviously not as good as the first one, but I still think there are some good points to this. And Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow in this movie, excellent, excellent. I think she's like the hottest she's ever been in any of the MCU movies. It's this one for sure. That's just me. And Gwyneth Paltrow, and I really like how they brought in Don Cheadle as Brody. I think he was a much better fit than Terrence Howard. Iron Man 3, another one. I hated it when I first saw it, but it's grown on me. I like it enough to watch it. Yes, it has some problems, but like I said, it has grown on me, and I like it a little bit more now. It's watchable for me, and it has some actually really hilarious moments in it. The Italian Job, kind of an overlooked like heist movie, again with Charlize Theron, one of her early roles. I love her in this movie. I really like Edward Norton's character in this movie too, but it's a really fun like heist movie. It's short and sweet and to the point. Jack Reacher, I haven't seen the second one because I heard I didn't hear like anything good about it, so it didn't really like pique my interest. But I do like this one. Jackie Brown, this is the like limited edition steelbook from the UK. Really great picture there. And then on the inside, there's a picture of Tarantino and guns and money and all that. But yeah, that's a very nice steelbook. Jaws, classic. John Wick and John Wick Chapter 2. I really like both of them. I thought this was a really good sequel. I thought it was going to suck, actually, but I think they're both pretty great. But the first one, that club scene is amazing. Can't wait for the third one. And Keanu Reeves is great. I think he's really, come back in recent years. Really like him. Joyride with Paul Walker. Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. The more I watch this, it's not amazing, but it's a good watch. I do like it for what it is. I am looking forward to the Lost Kingdom, I think it's called. I definitely am going to see that because I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. Jurassic Park, I think it's my favorite movie, along with The Godfather. Watched this so many times as a kid, but this one had some good moments. There were some moments that I didn't like, but Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, I'm really glad they're coming back for the next one because I think those two were the best things in this movie, along with the Indominus Rex and the that sea monster or whatever dinosaur that comes out of the water. That thing was awesome. Justified. the complete first season. I'm halfway through this. I got to finish it. I do like it a lot. And, you know, so I'm probably going to go continue on and watch season 2 and 3. There's one season where, what's her name? Carla Gugino is like a guest star. I think it's the 3rd season. She's in a few episodes, so that'll be interesting to watch because I like her. I think she's a good actress, but gotta watch that. But Timothy Olyphant's badass. Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. These are the Steelbook versions. I really like it. There's Uma Thurman as Beatrix Kiddo, a.k.a. the bride. There's her in her wedding dress with the katana. Yeah, those are really very entertaining movies. King Kong, I love this movie. This is Peter Jackson's remake. So much better than Kong Skull Island, I think. But the visuals in it are amazing. Yes, the story's long, but it's freaking great. I love Adrian Brody and Naomi Watts in that movie. Kingsman: The Secret Service. I love it. I think it's hugely entertaining. I haven't seen the second one, but I am going to rent it or get my hands on it somehow. Kiss the Girls. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Night and Day. Knocked Up. I got to rewatch this again. I liked it when I first saw it. L.A. Confidential. Great. La La Land. Really, like, really feel-good movie. Really, like, you know, uplifting, charming type movie. It's a musical, but it's not so musical heavy. You know, the music doesn't get in the way. Usually when you see a musical, it's like 95% of it is singing, but this one has a really great balance. It was directed amazingly, great cinematography, and I think it deserved all the nominations. There's not a lot of movies that come along anymore that are like this, but Damien Chazelle, really interested to see what he comes out with next. It's the ending is kind of like a happy, sad type ending. It's kind of disappointing, but yet it's a good ending. But yeah, great music. I love it. It's a really good movie. Larry Crown. A League of Their Own, which I want to rewatch again because I love Tom Hanks in this movie and Gina Davis. That's a really funny movie. Let Me In, another great monster or vampire movie with really great performance by Chloe Grace Moretz. And what's that kid? Cody Smith McPhee. The Lincoln Lawyer, I really like that one. Logan, which I still haven't seen yet. I don't know how the hell I haven't seen that yet. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, love all 3 of them. They're long, but they're some of the best movies that you'll ever see in terms of everything. Directing, acting, cinematography, everything. Probably the best fantasy movies. Even though I like the Harry Potter world more. Love and Mercy. Love that movie. Love and Other Drugs. Mad Max Fury Road. I liked it mainly because of Charlize Theron and the action. The story is a little bit lacking, but I heard they're making a sequel to this, or like a spin-off movie, which is just about Furiosa, Charlize Theron's character. That I can't wait to see. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., very underrated movie. One of my favorites of, I think it was 2015. Yeah, love it. I love all the performances. It's kind of like a throwback spy movie. And Alicia Vikander is, or Vikander, however you say her name again, is just great in that movie. The Man in the Iron Mask. Man of Steel, which I really like. Matchstick Men. And The Matrix, probably my favorite sci-fi movie ever. Okay, starting off with the next shelf here, we have The Matrix Reloaded, which I don't think it's completely terrible. It's not as good as the first one, but there are some really good scenes in this movie, really great fight scenes, and you know, overall I don't hate it, but I haven't seen the third one. That one just looks like really god-awful, but that as a sequel overall, I think it's not bad. Mean Girls. Meet the Parents. Memento. Midnight in Paris, my favorite Woody Allen movie. Great performances. Rachel McAdams is in this movie too. I really love her, even though she's her character is really kind of a bitch in this movie. But and Léa Seydoux in this movie too. Adrian Brody's hilarious in that movie. He only has like 10 minutes of screen time, but he's incredible in that. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Going back to Aubrey Plaza again. $1 Million Baby, one of my favorite movies. My favorite Clint Eastwood directed movie, along with Mystic River. Hilary Swank is amazing in that movie. A Million Ways to Die in the West, I like it. Minority Report. Misery, one of my favorite movies. Amazing suspense, amazing performances, especially by Kathy Bates. She's amazing in that movie. Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible 3, which was the first Mission Impossible movie I ever saw. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which I think is my favorite. Really looking forward to the new one coming out. That looks really good. The Mist, one of my favorite horror movies. This is such a great movie. Love it. Thomas Jane is really great in that movie. The Money Pit. Monster with Charlize Theron and Christina Ricci. Both of them give amazing performances. Especially Charlize Theron. She won her Oscar for this movie, playing the real-life serial killer, Eileen Wuornos. She's amazing in that. Monsters, Inc., one of my favorites. Morning Glory, a pretty funny movie with Harrison Ford. He's really funny in it, and love Rachel McAdams in this movie. Mr. Brooks. Mud. Really good coming-of-age movie with Matthew McConaughey really giving a good performance, and Reese Witherspoon, she's only in it for a little bit, but I like her in that. The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. Two childhood favorites. Love both of them. Didn't like the third one at all, and haven't seen the new one with Tom Cruise yet. My Best Friend's Girl. I like that movie. My Cousin Vinny. Really funny. Marissa Tomei's great in this movie. She won her Oscar for that performance. Mystic River. Great movie. The Naked Gun trilogy. Leslie Nielsen is so damn funny. National Treasure and National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets. I like both of them. They're a fun movie. The Negotiator. Definitely check this one out. One of the best thrillers ever made, especially from the 90s. Nerve. Kind of a unique, cool movie. The Next 3 Days. With Russell Crowe and Elizabeth Banks. This is great. This was actually filmed here where I live. So that's an interesting trivia for that. The Nice Guys. Love this movie. One of my favorites from when this came out. 2016. Really funny movie. I'd love a sequel to this. Probably not, though, because it didn't do well in the theaters, which is a shame, but I really love that movie. Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian. Excuse me. This is the second one. This is my favorite. I love Amy Adams as Amelia Earhart. Nightcrawler. Love this movie. I have the poster up there. This is the Canadian exclusive steelbook. Yeah, this is from Mondo. I really love this. The cracked screen here, if you take this off here, you see Jake Gyllenhaal's face with a map of Los Angeles underneath it. And yeah, the city of Los Angeles is, where is it? Right there. It's kind of hard to see because it's in red, but yeah, beautiful steelbook and really great movie. One of the best thrillers in the recent few years. Very original, and I can't believe Jake Gyllenhaal didn't get nominated for this movie because it's one of the best performances ever, I think. He's so amazing in this movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. I really wish they would release Dream Warriors as a single Blu-ray. No Country for Old Men. Nocturnal Animals, again with Jake Gyllenhaal, Amy Adams, and Michael Shannon. Great performances. Also, Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Nonstop. This is a really good movie. It takes place on an airplane. Claustrophobic thriller. He has to find this guy who keeps texting him that he's going to kill people. And this is directed by the guy that directed The Shallows and other great Liam Neeson movies. And he just directed The Commuter, which I haven't seen, but I kind of want to because it seems interesting. But yeah, that's Nonstop. Okay, moving on, we have North by Northwest, another Alfred Hitchcock classic. Now You See Me, and Now You See Me Too. Those are fun movies. The Nutty Professor, really funny. That's one I watched a lot as a kid. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13. I enjoy all three of them. Ocean's 12 is probably the weakest one, but still enjoyable. And I can't wait to see the new one with Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, and Helena Bonham Carter, and I can't remember who else is in it, but it's a really great cast. Looking forward to that one. Olympus Has Fallen, just a really fun action movie. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This is the really nice digibook. Great movie. 1 Hour Photo, very creepy movie. Robin Williams, really creepy performance. The Others, one of the best ghost movies. The Other Guys, one of my favorite comedies. It's hilarious. Out of Time. Oz the Great and Powerful. The Patriot. Patriots Day. Patriot Games. Piranha, so much fun, dark humor, just over the top in every sense of the word. So much gore, so much nudity. It's just turn your brain off and have fun. It's a great movie to watch in the summer. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. I enjoy all three of those. I think it's a pretty solid trilogy. Haven't seen the fourth one, and I just rented the newer one that came out last year, so I have to watch that one. Then we have the Planet of the Apes series. We have Planet of the Apes, the original, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, which is one of my favorites, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, Battle for the Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Apes remake with Mark Wahlberg, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I have seen more of the Planet of the Apes. I just didn't buy it. I don't know how I feel about it. I thought it was okay when I saw it in the theaters, but you have to rewatch it. Point Break, the original, classic. Poseidon. I really like this movie. I remember watching this a lot as a kid. Kurt Russell's in it. Premium Rush. Premonition. Love Sandra Bullock again. The Prestige. I love this movie. One of my favorites. It's my favorite Christopher Nolan movie outside of the Dark Knight trilogy. Or the Dark Knight, rather. In terms of just movies that he's, directed outside of that trilogy. This is the Harrison Ford double feature. Presumed Innocent and Frantic. Frantic is okay. I didn't like it as much as Presumed Innocent. I thought that was a good movie. Pride and Glory. Colin Farrell and Edward Norton. Primal Fear. Edward Norton, man, he's forced to be reckoned with. The Princess Bride. Rob Reiner directed classic. Prisoners. Amazing, too. Really great performances, especially Hugh Jackman. He should have won an Oscar. I don't know if he was nominated, but he was amazing. Great performance in a really dark movie. Great cinematography, really fucked up, twisted ending. And Prometheus. I don't love it. It is watchable. There are some good parts to it. I haven't seen Alien Covenant or any of the newer ones after this, but I did like Charlize Theron in this movie because I love her to death, but kind of the villain, but she dies in a very stupid way. That was really dumb the way she died, but nevertheless, pretty solid movie. Okay, moving on here, we have The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. Pretty funny movie. Betty White's batshit crazy in this movie, and Sandra Bullock, oh man, she's smoking in that movie. Love her. Psycho, the original one, great classic movie, one of my favorites. That's another perfect movie. Pulp Fiction, classic. The Punisher, I think it's underrated. I love it. Love the video game too, on PS2. Rambo. Ransom, great movie. The Raven. Rear Window. Red Dragon. Red Eye with another favorite of mine, directed by Wes Craven. Rest in peace. And it stars Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams again. I love her. The Reservoir Dogs Mondo Steelbook, one of my favorite movies again, would be in the top 10 for me. And an amazing steelbook. I think it's one of the best steelbooks I own. The Revenant, love this movie. I have the poster right up there. Can't see it. But Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy are amazing in it. Actually, everyone. Domhnall Gleeson's great in it. It's just a great movie. One of my favorites. I think it was my favorite from that year, along with The Hateful Eight. Revolutionary Road. again with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Their second movie they did together after Titanic. Then we have the Resident Evil movies. We have Resident Evil, Apocalypse, Extinction, Afterlife, and Retribution. They're dumb, fun, turn your brain off movies. The first one's actually a good Resident Evil movie. They get a little over the top, you know, as you go along, but I enjoy them for what they are. I think Mila Jovovich kicks ass, and you know, they're just really fun movies for me. Haven't seen the new one. I don't think I'm going to, but it is what it is. The Ring, one of my favorites. I love this movie. One of my favorite horror movies. Naomi Watts, great in that movie. Roadhouse, so much fun. It's so much fun. I love that. Road to Perdition. Rockstar. Rocky IV, which is the only Rocky movie I own. I'm not big on the Rocky series. I do like the first one a lot. I just don't own it. This one's my favorite. Yes, it's over the top. It's like one training montage, like for an hour and a half, but Drago is one of my favorite movie villains. He's awesome. Ronin. Run All Night. Runaway Jury, another overlooked movie. Great cast in that movie. John Cusack, Gene Hackman, Rachel Weisz is in it, and Dustin Hoffman. Rush. Like that one too a lot. Again, here we go back with Aubrey Plaza. It's Safety Not Guaranteed. It's an independent comedy, I guess. It's quirky, but it's, you know, it hits you in the right places. Saving Private Ryan. Probably my favorite movie, along with The Godfather and Jurassic Park. Say Anything. Scarface. Scent of a Woman. Al Pacino won his Oscar for that movie, finally. Schindler's List. Really hard to watch, but extremely well done. The Score. And then we have one of my favorite series, just in general and of the horror franchise, or horror genre. Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, and Scream 4. I love all four of them. They're so much fun. They're classic. They're funny. They're self-aware. But, you know, there's humor where there needs to be humor, and there's gore and violence when there needs to be gore and violence. And the last one on this shelf is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Absolutely hilarious movie. Okay, moving on here, we have Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. Very funny comedy with Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. Kind of an odd combination, but they really make it work. Really sad ending, but really, you know, fun movie along the way. Serendipity with two of my favorite actors, John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale. Seven, another one of my top 10 movies. This movie's perfect for what it is. And that ending, you know, everyone talks about it, but it has to be. It's amazing. And Kevin Spacey, I know, you know, all that shit that he's going through with the allegations and everything. Regardless, he's a phenomenal actor, and his performances in this is great. It can't be overlooked. It's incredible. 7 Pounds, another really good movie. It's really sad in the end. You know, there's a lot of you know, sad moments, but it's really great. I think it's one of Will Smith's most overlooked performances. And Rosario Dawson, I love her in this movie. She's so great. And it also has the actor who plays Jackson in Saving Private Ryan. I can't remember his name, but he's in it for a few scenes. Really good movie. Another one this is a really kind of fucked up movie. Shame. Michael Fassbender and Carey Mulligan are amazing in this. Amazing performances. The story is really hard to watch, but it's one of those movies it's hard to watch, and it's really weird, but that's what kind of makes it interesting to watch. It's really hard to explain. This isn't one you watch all the time. I've only watched this. Last time I watched this was 2 years ago. I haven't seen it since. But I appreciate it for what it is. I mean, it's really fucked up. It's hard to explain, but there's something that I like about it. I don't know why. It's not the nudity and the sex, and there's more to it than that. But yeah, Michael Fassbender plays a sex addict, like really severe, and his sister comes to town, played by Carey Mulligan, and there's some like crazy shit with them, but both of them are amazing in this movie. I don't know why they weren't like nominated or anything, but okay. Then we have The Shallows, which I really enjoyed. It's probably one of the better, I think it's one of the better shark movies, along with Deep Blue Sea and you know, The Reef, and of course Jaws is the masterpiece. But I thought it was a good movie, and I thought Blake Lively gave a really good performance in terms of, you know, carrying the movie, because she's like, you know, the only character in the movie really. Yeah, the ending is a little bit over the top, you know, with the shark and everything, but I like it. It's very entertaining. She's really good in it. The Shawshank Redemption, really great movie. Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. I like both of these a lot. Guy Ritchie directed them. I think there's plans to make a third one. I think I read somewhere that they're making one. I hope so, because I'm really looking forward to that. Love a third one of that. She's Out of My League, which was also filmed here. The Shining. Great. Shutter Island. Really another great one. This was another movie that I didn't like when I first saw it a few years ago, but seeing it again a few more times, it's great. Like, probably the best asylum-type movie, where that takes place in an asylum. Of course, Leo's amazing. Sicario was one of my favorites of that year. Side Effects, great thriller. Silence of the Lambs, ultimate classic. Silver Linings Playbook, one of my favorite movies ever. I love this movie so much. Sing Street, The Sixth Sense, still great, even though the ending, you know, has been like drove into the ground. You know, but it's, even though you know the ending, it's still a great movie. Sleepy Hollow, really creepy movie, so over the top, so many decapitations. I think there's more people's heads getting cut off in this movie than I've ever seen. I think there's like 8 or 9 people that get their heads cut off. But it's really entertaining. Snake Eyes, Brian De Palma directed it. Snow White and the Huntsman, pretty good, you know, reimagining of Snow White. It's dark and everything, and Chris Hemsworth's the badass. I don't think Kristen Stewart was the best to play Snow White, but Charlize Theron as the evil queen. That was great casting, and she did a good job as always. The Social Network comes in this kind of, they could have designed a better case for that. Source Code, another underrated movie. Jake Gyllenhaal's great in it. Vera Farmiga's in it. Michelle Monaghan, Jeffrey Wright. Oh man, childhood. Space Jam. Love it. The Spectacular Now. This is a great movie. Really realistic, great performances. Speed, another one, a classic, one of the best action movies ever made. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock are badass. And Dennis Hopper, great villain in that. The Spider-Man trilogy, this is Sam Raimi's trilogy, comes with Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 3. I like the first two. I think the first one's one of my favorite superhero movies. The third one, I absolutely hated when I first saw it, but upon watching it, it's watchable. There are bad things, but there are some good things about it too. They kind of are neck and neck. So, but I can watch it. I only watch it when I watch the whole trilogy, though. I think so, but I do enjoy all three of those movies, and I love this packaging this comes in. Spider-Man: Homecoming, I enjoyed it. It's better than the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I don't know if I like this one or the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man more, but it's good for what it is, and I love Iron Man, how he appears in that, because he's, like I said, one of my favorites. Spotlight, I got to rewatch this again, because I haven't seen it since theaters, but amazing performances. Mark Ruffalo, I know, got a lot of acclaim for this movie. Of course, Rachel McAdams is in it, love her. Michael Keaton, really like him, and Stanley Tucci, Liv Schreiber. Great. Oh, Stardust. This is an underrated movie. I love it. It's a fantasy movie with Robert De Niro playing a gay pirate, which is hilarious. And it has Charlie Cox, years before he became Daredevil, and Michelle Pfeiffer as an evil witch. Then we have the Star Trek, J.J. Abrams reboot trilogy. It comes with Star Trek, Star Trek Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond. I love these movies. I love all three of them. I always wanted to watch them, and I didn't know where to start. So I decided to start at the reboots, because I know they appeal to, or I've heard that they are kind of catered to, the old fans of Star Trek and then like newer fans. So if you're going to get into Star Trek, watch these three, because I love all three of them. I think they're great. I always wanted to watch them because I like Star Wars a lot, and I always wondered, how these were. But yeah, Chris Pine is Captain Kirk, and yeah, Spock and Uhura and all that. It's so great. Zoe Saldana is great as Lieutenant Uhura, and Zachary Quaid, is that his name, who plays Spock? Anyway, I really love this, and this packaging is amazing, how it has Chris Pine there, and Zach Quaid, is that his name, Quinto or something? And there's Spock, and then Jayla right there. I love that, how Sophia Boutella, I was mentioning her earlier. I love her, and she's great as Jayla. I hope she returns in future Star Trek movies, because she was great. But yeah, if you love Star Wars and you never watched these movies, give these ones a watch. I think you'll be very entertained. And Star Trek Into Darkness, Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan, fantastic. Okay, and then we have the Star Wars movies here. We have Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Okay, then we have Star Wars Attack of the Clones. I really like these steelbooks with these really detailed pictures there. I love that. That's really great. We have Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. A New Hope. That's the best cover, I think, along with Darth Maul. Great back shot. The Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi. And then we have The Force Awakens. I haven't seen The Last Jedi yet. I don't know if I will. If I do, I'll probably rent it or watch it somehow, but I didn't see it in theaters. State of Play, really good political thriller. Ben Affleck, Russell Crowe, Rachel McAdams is in this, and Helen Mirren. That's a good one. Stonehurst Asylum, another one of the best asylum type movies. It's based off Edgar Allan Poe story with Kate Beckinsale. That's a great movie. Oh, I love this. Stranger Than Fiction. I think that's my favorite Will Ferrell movie. The Sure Thing, John Cusack. Sweet Home Alabama. Sweet November with Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron. This was the movie they did after Devil's Advocate. A really sad movie. The ending is really sad. Taken, I like it a lot. I don't like the sequel at all, and I haven't seen the third one. Take Me Home Tonight. The Talented Mr. Ripley. The Terminal. I think it's Steven Spielberg's most underrated movie. I think Tom Hanks is great in it, as always, and Catherine Zeta-Jones in it. I think Stanley Tucci's in it. Yeah, he is. If you haven't seen it, you love Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, give it a chance. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. The Terminator. Terminator 2 Judgment Day with the steelbook. I love this. This is my favorite. I love the T-1000. And just the action in that movie is great. Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. It's watchable. It's fun. I think, I'm not a diehard fan of the series like some other people are. I'm just kind of like a casual watcher of this series. So, I like it. Terminator Genesis, it does have a lot of problems, but again, it's enjoyable. And I love this steelbook. Emilia Clarke there as Sarah Connor. Really cool looking steelbook, and yeah, I can watch the movie and enjoy it. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, another great remake or reboot, whatever you call it. This is the one with Jessica Biel. Watched this so many times as a kid. I love it. It's a great horror remake. That's an example of a horror remake done right. That Thing You Do, really enjoy that one. Thelma and Louise. This is funny. This is Brad Pitt's first movie, and it was directed by Ridley Scott. So that's interesting. I love Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis in it together. It's a fun time. The Thing. Talking about remakes again, this might be like the greatest remake, one of the greatest horror remakes, for sure. 13 Ghosts. This Is Where I Leave You, another amazing cast. Love the cast in that. This Means War. Titanic, one of my all-time favorite movies. I just watched this again a few weeks ago. Love it. I've seen it so many times. Tombstone, excellent Western. Top Gun, love the Steelbook. I think I love the Steelbook more than the movie, but it's enjoyable. And we have the Tomb Raider double feature. We have Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider The Cradle of Life. These are just fun action movies. Just turn your brain off and have fun with the action and everything. I love Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft. And I am looking forward to the new one. I'm not expecting it to be amazing, but I'm going to see it because I love Alicia Vikander, or Vikander. Again, however you say her name. So I hope it's somewhat enjoyable. But yeah, these two, if you haven't seen them, they're really enjoyable. And Angelina kicks ass. Okay, guys, we're nearing the end here. We just have about a shelf and a half to go here. So let's continue on. We have The Town. This is the extended cut. I haven't seen the extended cut. I've only seen the theatrical release. But really good heist movie that Ben Affleck directed and starred in. Then we have one of my favorite trilogies ever, Toy Story, Toy Story 2, and Toy Story 3. I enjoy all three of them a lot. I think they're all perfect. The first one is my favorite. The third one is really sad. You know, it kind of leaves you on a down note, but it's another one of those like happy, sad endings. Yeah, I love Woody and Buzz. I grew up with them. It's my favorite Pixar movies. Yeah, just perfect in every sense of the word. I know they're making a fourth one. I'll wait to see a trailer of that. You know, I am probably going to go see it, but I don't know much information on that, so I can't comment on that. Training Day. Tron Legacy, which a lot of people hate, but I think it's very entertaining. Jeff Bridges is so funny in this movie, but the visuals in it are amazing, especially if you watch them on a flat screen like HD TV. Phenomenal. Tropic Thunder. And then we have True Detective Season 1 and True Detective Season 2. This season, Season 2 has Colin Farrell and Rachel McAdams, along with Vince Vaughn. I enjoy both seasons a lot. I wish they'd make a third one. The first one's definitely better with the hunt for the serial killer, the ritual, like he kills people in like a very ritual type way. Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson are phenomenal. And I think it's episode 4, or I can't remember what episode, but it's the episode with where Matthew McConaughey's character infiltrates a biker gang, and the whole like shootout in the neighborhood is done in one shot, or at least it's edited to look like one shot. I think there might be one cut, but that whole thing, how he has the human shield and he's walking through the neighborhood, through backyards and things like that, that was amazing. That was definitely a high point. But yeah, Season 2 got a lot of crap. It's definitely not as good as 1, but I think it's still enjoyable. You know, I didn't hate it at all, so that's a really great series, both of them. True Romance, great. Twister, classic, another one of my childhood. Unbreakable, I cannot wait for Glass. I think that comes out next January. Wasn't a big fan of Split at all, except for the ending, how it tied in with Unbreakable. Spoilers, though, you know, sorry if I spoiled that for anyone, but yeah, Unbreakable, really looking forward to Glass, and this one's a really great one. I think this and The Sixth Sense are Shyamalan's best directed movies. Then we have the Underworld movies, Underworld Evolution, Rise of the Lycans, Awakening. I have seen the new one, Blood Wars. I don't really like it that much, but I do like those other 4. Kate Beckinsale is beautiful and The Untouchables. V for Vendetta. Love this movie. I saw this in theaters. This is a really good movie. And Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman together are great. Vacancy, another Kate Beckinsale movie. Really cool horror thriller. Van Helsing, again with Kate Beckinsale. Starting to see a pattern. Vertigo, classic, really great mindfuck of a movie. The Watchmen, really beautiful steelbook there. Very different type of superhero movie, but I like how it's really realistic and gritty. Walk Among the Tombstones, great. Another one my friend told me to watch, and I'm glad he did, because that's a really good movie. Walk the Line, love, 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 love this movie. Perfect. 10 out of 10. The Way, Way Back. Wedding Crashers, really funny. The Wedding Singer. Weekend at Bernie's, classic. We're the Millers, I like it, I enjoy it. What If? When Harry Met Sally. And Whiplash. Okay guys, we're on the last shelf here. So, we got Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the 25th anniversary edition. Love it. It's such a great combination of live action and animation, and I like the story, how it's like a 1930s film noir kind of private investigator investigation with all the cartoon characters. That's really, really interesting. Witness. Wild with Reese Witherspoon. Great performance by her. Wild Hogs. I love this movie. I really can't explain why. Ever since I was a kid, I just loved it. I find it so freaking funny. The four of them together are hilarious, and there's so many good scenes in this movie, and then Marissa Tomei's in it at the end. It's really cool. The Wizard of Oz, what can you say? The Wolf of Wall Street, one of my favorites from 2013, I think it was, or 14? 13. It's one of my favorite Martin Scorsese movies. I have the poster of it over there. Leonardo DiCaprio is phenomenal in this movie. So is Matthew McConaughey. Jonah Hill's good in it. Of course, Margot Robbie is a goddess. You know, it's the movie that introduced us to her. But, yeah, it's so funny. There's a lot of dark parts to it, too, but it's so funny. It's hilarious. And Leo just is so dedicated. I just love... That's why he's my favorite actor. I mean, he can... The way he falls down the stairs and he tries to get into the car, the Lamborghini, it's so... Like, that's acting genius. I love it. Wonder Woman, I got this for Black Friday. It's not phenomenal. It's okay. I think it's good for a Wonder Woman movie, but it's not like anything... You know, I don't think it's like, yeah, one of the greatest movies ever made, but Gal Gadot, I do love her as Wonder Woman a lot. I think that was the perfect choice. Chris Pine is really good in this movie too. Both of them together are good, but Gal Gadot really sells that movie. And I do like how they go into World War II. Or is it World War I? See, I can't even remember. I think it's World War I. That's it, because they're in the trenches. I forgot. But that part was cool. Okay, then we have the X-Men movies. We have X-Men. Love these steel books, or metal packs rather. X2 X-Men United. Then we got Famke Jensen and Halle Berry. Yeah, they're really cool. Storm. X-Men The Last Stand, which is one of the weaker ones in the series, but I don't mind it. X-Men First Class, this is when they go... This is like the prequels when they show them when they were younger with Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy. That's really great there. X-Men Days of Future Past. Jennifer Lawrence, where is she? Right there as Mystique. And then we have X-Men Apocalypse, which it wasn't amazing. It could have been better, but they're, you know, it's not bad. There's some good scenes in it, and I do like this series a lot, as you can tell. You're Next, one of my favorite horror movies of recent years. Love the killers. I love their masks. I have a few of them. I was the one killer for Halloween. And Sharni Vincent as the final girl, or she's like the main chick. There she is. She's badass in this movie. Zack and Miri Make a Porno. I really like this movie. I think it's a good comedy, and I think Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks. I really like her. She's really good in that movie. Zookeeper and Zootopia. I think this was my favorite movie of 2016. Along with something else. I can't remember my top 10 video, but I know this was up there. Phenomenal movie in every sense of the word. I love it. I love the Godfather scene. I love the characters. I love Nick Wilde, Jason Bateman as the fox. Great, great movie. I hope there's a sequel to this someday. I think Disney knocked it out of the park in this one. From the animation to the story. They did everything right. So that's Zootopia. Alright guys, so that's it for my complete Blu-ray collection of 2018. I really hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe to my channel if you are new. And please leave a comment. I love to hear everyone's thoughts and everything like that, especially since it's been a while. So, yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.